Number 15. 15, one of the mistakes, delaying an eviction. Again, every one of these is just like I can talk on them for hours and hours, and I have to stay focused on this one. Otherwise, I'll drift off going over on different things. But it goes back to following the rules of the lease. If somebody is not paying rent, even though they're nice or whatever, you can be lenient. Again, if it's 1 month or something like that, depending on their situation. But ultimately, you need cash flow as a landlord. You can't keep allowing them to live there for free. Okay, that just doesn't work that way. You don't go into a grocery store and get a cart full of food and walk out and say you'll pay them later. It doesn't work that way. You don't go to a gas station and get your tank filled up. Oh, I'll catch you on the flip side. No, pay right now and then you take it. So housing should be no different. So delaying an eviction, do not do this. The more you do this, the more of the sob stories that you hear from people. Oh, I'm this and I'm back to work and I'm going to get this and I'm going to make a payment and I'm going to get this done. But 1 week leads to the next week, leads to the next week. Now, you really have to understand your landlord-tenant law. How long eviction takes, what you need in order to evict somebody, what are some of the requirements. Please check on this. Every state can very well be different on this one here. Some states are more landlord-friendly. Some states are more tenant-friendly. And this has been, I forget when it happened exactly, but it still blows my mind that the city of Seattle actually made it impossible for landlords to evict tenants in the wintertime. So what do you think that means? This is just an example. So if it's wintertime and it's cold outside, Seattle's laws now state that their courts will not evict anybody. Well, we have to wait till the weather's better before you can ask them to leave. What? And again, that's a soapbox I can be on for a long time. But I don't like rules and laws like that where it's unfair to the landlord. Now, that is ridiculously fair. The tenants, if you know tenants, they could really play that law and use that to their advantage, especially when that's the case. But delaying an eviction, if they're late on their rent, put them into eviction. If you don't, all you're doing is sending them a message that you're a pushover. That you could be late on your rent. My landlord's not me. He's not going to do anything. He's all bark, no bite. That's exactly what you're going to get. And you're going to lose respect from your tenants when people do that. You will start losing respect because if you don't do exactly what's in your lease and do what you say, then they're going to lose respect for you. I can guarantee you. You put them into eviction and they get that little legal notice saying that they have to be in court for eviction. Mind changes just like that. It's amazing how you get that call. Oh, I'll have a payment to you today and we'll be caught up by the first of the month and then everything will be fine like that. It's amazing how that happens. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't communicate with the tenant and be empathetic. Like, I'm very sorry. We didn't want to put you into eviction. We don't really have a choice. In this case, you didn't pay your rent. We tried to work with you. You didn't make your payment, so you have to go into eviction. This is a business, and we can't afford to pay for you and your family to live here. You have to pay money. That's just the way the world works. So do not delay an eviction. The longer you delay it, the longer that process is just going to take in general. I've seen people wait and go, well, I've actually had some tenants. This is funny. They literally text me, and they go, well, I'm only a month behind or something like that. And I'm like, really? Only a month behind? I've been trying to work with you. I understand, you had some job issues. That was a special case, but I just thought that was funny. It's like, no. So if they're late, they have to be put into eviction. Now, here's the thing. The better you do this, okay, the better you stay on a time clock with this, the better it's going to be for you overall. Now, I'm kind of appealing to parents. I didn't learn this. I'll tell you just a quick thing here. As a parent, one of the things, and this is a new parent, my first kid. One of the things I did not know is to put a kid on a schedule. I did not know that lesson. And it was very painful. Everything was unexpected. Nothing was standard. I couldn't count on anything. But as soon as I put our kid on a schedule, put them down at night at a certain thing, they ate at a certain time, it's amazing how their body just synced to that. And everything was just so much easier. Well, The exact same thing with your tenants here. I'm not saying your tenants are your children. I didn't mean to make that analogy, but it's just so much easier when if your tenants know on a certain day if they haven't paid the rent or they haven't communicated with you on what's going on and agreed upon a payment plan. Okay, that's always your option to do that. That if they haven't done either one of those, then they will automatically go into eviction. They just know it's going to happen. And if they know that, then they will avoid that because people's normal expectation is to avoid pain and to gear toward pleasure. Okay, so pain is, they don't want to go to court, they don't want to get a legal notice, they don't want to have an eviction on their record because that will show up in the future that, hey, they filed for eviction for you. So what kind of a person are you? Now, there are some places that won't even accept you if you have an eviction on your record. I mean, that's not against any kind of fair housing law. Just like, hey, you've been evicted 6 years ago. I don't care if you've been a good tenant. I don't want you. Sorry. So, delaying an eviction, don't do it. Have your tenants respect you. Make sure it's on a timely basis. And when that does, you will find out it's much, much easier to deal with tenants because they know what to expect. And then what happens is now you don't need to contact them regarding the rent. They will start contacting you because they know that deadline for filing eviction is coming due. And when they know that, they will reach out to you. So make it a lot easier.